Welcome to the 6-minute stretch, challenge number 19, transformational leadership. Sarah and I are extremely excited that you decided to join us today. And we hope that you join us for our 5-part series on transformational leadership. If you've been with us before, you know that we like to look up the definition of the things that we talk about. And today we looked up transform. The definition of transform seems simple. It's to make a thorough or dramatic change in the form, appearance, or character. And I decided to look further, and I found a couple synonyms that I really like: change, alter, modify, reshape. And in my mind, this is purposeful action, that we are doing things to make things better. And my thought is, when we not only think like this, but we behave in this manner around transformational leadership, that leads to a greater impact and influence on others and the organization. As a matter of fact, we believe that leadership is about influence, nothing more, nothing less. It's about how we go about influencing those around us. Sarah, why don't you share with the group a little bit more on transformational leadership?
Yeah, and when you think about this concept of transformational leadership, you really have the ability to outline what are transformational leaders capable of doing. And so this is kind of where we're going to give you a little bit of your stretch journey today, because we are going to list out some characteristics or some capabilities, and then you're going to give yourself a chance to look at the resource sheet and say, where am I with that particular characteristic? So as an example, what we know is that transformational leadership or leaders are able to, in fact, develop goals that people are excited about. And so just pause for a second and say, do I do that? Am I doing it consistently enough? Am I doing it proficiently enough in the eyes of others? Also, we know that transformational leaders are those who get excited about work and get others excited about work. So how are you there? Given the last 12 to 14 months, this one could be maybe one of the biggest challenges for many of us. In addition, we know that they're able to generate confidence and positivity in the workplace. How are you doing there? Are you able to and/or spending enough time trying to intentionally create confidence and positivity for yourself and others? Also, we know that they implement flexibility. And that's another one that you should pause and say, how am I doing creating that agile environment for myself and others? And then finally, they're able to share a meaningful organizational identity with everyone on the team. And again, while that one can sometimes be difficult, it's very important. And that's what creates some of that impact that you can have as a transformational leader. But Denny, one of the things that we know is that this is not about title, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we've already mentioned influence, that we believe that leadership is about influence, nothing more, nothing less. And one of the things I want to share with the group is, you know, influence and leadership, as I just mentioned, they are related in that you cannot lead someone without influencing them in some way. So we know that we have the ability, or we need to have that ability to influence people. The other thing I think is important to point out is that, like influence, leadership is not restricted to those at the top of the pyramid. And so what do I mean by that? And so often when Sarah and I talk about leadership, we use a pyramid. And we always ask the question, where does leadership belong? Most people would say it's at the top of the organization. We take a bit different approach. And what we say is that leadership is the foundation, is where it belongs. And so if we have it as the foundation and we teach it to everybody, it permeates throughout the entire organization. So then the question becomes, what really goes at the top of this pyramid? In our mind, in our belief is, if you become better leaders, we are focused on our customers, our clients. That's why we want to be better leaders. And those customers and clients can be our internal people, our employees, or our paying customers. And how do we take care of those customers? It's through our people and what we do day in and day out. So it's how we influence those people, the impact that we make. And so if you think about it, we start with leadership here. It's ourself. We got to become better leaders and think about the things that we're doing and the challenges that Sarah just gave you a moment ago. And when we become better leaders ourselves, we can then contribute through others. And as that happens, we move through the organization and we start to become at the top of the organization, possibly as leaders. But again, that's not just where leaders sit as the top. So the leaders are benefiting from, or the organization is benefiting from, everybody becoming better leaders. And it's just a circular motion, because now we bring ourselves back down the other side. And again, we're still getting things done through others. And if we do this the right way, then leadership is the foundation within the organization. And it's just a circular motion that we have here. It's just continually going around. And that is where we really have transformational leadership, is to recognize that everybody plays a key role in helping others within the organization. And Sarah, as we do this, we know that there are certain pillars that we need to look at for leaders. So why don't you share with the group the 4 pillars that we'll be talking about?
That's exactly right. And so today was really about defining transformational leadership and giving you a little bit of an understanding of the characteristics that they embody. But for the next couple of weeks, we're going to dive into 4 pillars of impact that come along with being a transformational leader. The first among them is authenticity. Right? So we start to talk about what does that mean? How do you form it? How do you show it? And how do you leverage it? In addition, we also talk about the concept of having great coaching. So when you can have coaching as a part of your approach, you have a great amount of influence and you're going to develop future transformational leaders. In addition, another thing that we really want to focus on as a pillar is the concept of innovation. You have to think about reforming. And like you said, Denny, that idea of innovation is what really reforms us and transforms us for the future. And then finally, the concept of insight will become very important. And so we'll look at each of these 4 in the coming weeks, and we won't just talk about what they are. We'll talk about how you leverage them as a transformational leader as you create strategies for action. And so now it's time for everyone.
Absolutely, Sarah, because we've been talking about this for years, and it's become more apparent this year on the need for transformational leadership. So what is our challenge to you this week? One is take a moment and reflect on your current capabilities as a transformational leader. And we want you to do that by using the sheet that we've given you, the resource sheet that will help guide you along. Secondly, as always, we want you to also try to bring others with you. Show them this video and sit down and talk with them on the steps that they might need to take to also become a transformational leader. Remember, it's not where you sit. You don't have to be at the top of an organization to have impact or influence. And so with that, we know now with this challenge, it's go time. So let's do this. We look forward to seeing you in the next couple of weeks.